Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. I do want to thank you for joining us tonight, Monday the 28th of June, 2021, for the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago and the third best news forecast that is in our country of Trinidad. So remember, viewers, those of you that are having spiritual problems, you can feel free to contact me. Those of you who have properties to sell or looking for property to buy, you can also contact me. And if you lend your friend and your family you had in cash and you cannot get it back, feel free to get in touch with Real Talk Debt Collection Department, and they will be glad to assist you in any way possible. So viewers, share our live stream. Those of you that are on Facebook, share our live stream. Those of you who haven't subscribed to YouTube as yet, TT Real Talk, please do so. So viewers, you know, every night we always encourage you to share our live stream. Share our live stream so people would understand and know that there is a program on television that highlight the issues of us, the people in our country. So, share our live stream. Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali, TT Real Talk, and let us start our show tonight. So, over the weekend, after a hamper distribution drive at South Park Plaza turned chaotic and was shut down by police on Friday, Social Development Minister Donna Cox stated that the government underestimated the number of people in need of food hampers. Now I'm going to pause on my script right there. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, together with the Ministry of Health and those advisors, create a public health regulation and a public health ordinance that kept the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago in their homes. The government of the day shut down businesses in Trinidad and Tobago. The government of the day said to the people, stay indoors. They established a curfew on weekends. They established a curfew during the week. Only, listen carefully, only essential workers were allowed to work. Only essential worker. However, she stated that the situation was not as bad as it appeared to be, adding that there are some people in need and some persons in greed. This is coming from the Minister of Social Development. So listeners carefully, it's Mashup Monday tonight. You are the Minister of Social Development. You understand that the country is in a lockdown. You understand that no business in Trinidad and Tobago is open. You understand it's only essential workers. Essential workers are police, Defense Force, WASA, TNTEC, TSTT, and the hospital. Just 6 agencies in Trinidad and Tobago are allowed to function. 95% of the people are home. But you said the government underestimated the number of people in need of food hamper. Let's just say we have 300,000 people working in the sectors that you all call essential. What happened to the million? What happened to the million persons that are home, that they cannot come out to work? Who feeding them, Donna? They have no income coming in for months now. At the end of every month, all are collecting $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Untouched salary. Untouched. But the million people that are home, or the million person that are home, they have nothing coming in. Nothing coming in. But you underestimate the people need help. Which country you living in? Which ministry are you representing? Are you representing Trinidad and Tobago? I'm asking. However, after facing public criticism for her greedy people comments, she stated that she remained on the side of poverty-stricken and will continue to do her best to help them. Cox stated that her comment was misinterpreted. Let me tell you something. Greedy could only mean one thing. Greedy. Greedy cannot mean not greedy. Greedy cannot mean Russian. Greedy cannot mean you have more than you're supposed to. Greedy is greedy. What is there to misinterpret in the word greedy? If a man say he rich, rich means one thing, you have money. Rich don't mean poor. Donna, are you there? Where's my PNM people? Where's the people who say great is the PNM? How you like that? Your social development minister is telling you you're greedy. That is the left foot she put out. If she put out the right foot now, what's going to happen? Nothing for you. Ask whether she was willing to apologize for her remarks. Cox responded, social development is not about politics, but it's always about helping the vulnerable. You're helping the vulnerable, and we just have individuals calling in and telling them their grandmother disabled and their check cut. You're helping. I love when you heard the minister say the word help, you know. I'm telling you. Call her good night.
Good night, Saieed.
My friend.
Mash up Monday, right? And I want to address the greedy minister. I can't understand how she could not basically guesstimate the amount of people on the breadline.
Is 1 million people home, you could say, 300,000 people in the private sector. The essential workers.
NIB report say, since the PNM coming up over 112 of them missing from 112,000 missing from the NIB for contribution. She ain't gonna know that.
They must know that.
And the union ain't gonna know about that. And the union ain't do nothing about that just before election. The union was siding with the government. There was Roger and all of them, and this fella from Bank and General Workers Union, keep them out shut. They get a judgeship in the industrial court. But let me talk about this lady. For she to win back my confidence, she had to go in Parliament tomorrow and make a public statement. She wants the government pension law to be repealed. Then she go show me that she's very serious. So she should be agitated for that law. Remember last year, so all of them vote for our bigotry? That is what she had to do, repeal it. The other thing is, coming back to your uncle Terrence Terror. Remember tell you going to predict when we get 1,005 for it? Before the jet, it will be the end of July. Because remember Rowdy saying get them plenty vaccine sometime in July, so that is going to be it. So, because it is 327 for June and 326 for me. So, what going up? They say something going up, but I think that ain't going up. So, them fellas, we have, karma will take care of them. And the other one I want to tackle is Roger and union.
That's Dana? Put up Dana.
Roger and the union leaders, all those union people, the most stiff. And they allow PNM to send over 112,000 plus all the daily paid workers. All of them driving in a BMW, driving, getting paid in the big judgeship, as I say. Just Island, you remember the around 50 million? They didn't say anything. Election have consequences. You going to tell me, or you lose all that membership and what they didn't see. What the PNM doing for them? That's what happened.
Thank you, my friend. Well said, well said. So while you hear Donna saying now that her statement was misinterpreted, greed could only mean one thing, you know. Greedy could only mean one thing. It cannot mean two things. You see, when somebody say come, what does that mean? What does come mean? C-O-M-E. What does that mean? Does it mean to sit down? Does it mean to stand? Does it mean to wait? You cannot misinterpret the word come. So how did 1 million people misinterpret the word greed? I would love to hear some minister break down that in Parliament. Serious, I would love to hear that. So while we have she on the hot burner, listen this next one. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley have stated that while there were talks about open construction on Monday, the government have decided to only open government construction. So only government workers now in construction will get our food. What about the private sector and the poor man who working for 300 a day and he home 2 months now? What going on with him? And then Donna Cox now misinterpreted the word greed. So what going on with the poor man? What going on with the construction worker at his home? Oh, look up, the man, talk the man. Great is the leader. I'm stepping forward with my right foot. Oh, let's talk now. Call her good night. Go right ahead.
You know, in abroad, like foreign state them, if you go for a holiday, there's not tax temperature. That's Chinese.
If you take Sinopharm vaccine, you cannot go Canada. They don't want you.
And America too. They throw away that vaccine.
You see? Thank you, my friend. So here it is now, viewers. The PM stated that after full discussion, the government decided that it would hold on direction for a bit longer. So we're starving, we barely getting thin now, we're going in, we're back. He stated all the government construction will be open on July 5th.
We will not open construction on Monday, the 1st, but we will open government construction on the following Monday. Monday, the 5th of July, all government construction will reopen. We will hold the private sector construction for view after the next week and see what report we get from Dr. Hines and Dr. Richards, and hopefully we should be in a position then to be able to expand.
All right, good. The PM added that the government currently has several projects to complete, including the highway to Point Fortin, the Sangre Grande Hospital, and as well as schools. He then stated that while it was disappointing to keep the sector closed, at least there was a commitment.
So it's a little disappointing to tell you that, but take comfort in the fact that you have a commitment that on the 5th of July, those of you who are working on government projects, and you know who you are, you will be at work, and most of you should be vaccinated, and that the country should have in hand, in a matter of days after that, enough vaccines to run that program straight through to the end of the month. And the major disappointment is with private sector construction at this time.
It was disappointing to tell you that. Is it disappointing for your wife to tell you, well, hon, government construction open, what happening to you? We have no funds saving, the child pampers done? Is it disappointing to you to hear that, babes, well, you know, we can't finish build we house, we ain't have no money again, and we can't get no loan because all we savings finish? Is that disappointing, Mr. Rowley? I'm asking a question. Is that disappointing? The highway to Point Fortin important. That's important presently. All you're begging countries for vaccine. You're begging for vaccine. Which is more important? The lives of the people or the highway to Point 14? Now, take comfort. Take comfort in what? Take comfort in salary not coming in at the end of every fortnight or 30 days. Take comfort in that your food running out. Take comfort in that the bank calling you to pay your loan. Take comfort in that rent coming up and the landlord coming down on you. Take comfort in what, Mr. Rowley? I am asking, take comfort in what? So I want you PNM people now to call in and tell me now, Saeed, I am taking comfort in poverty. Instead, as you always say, I am not about UNC, I am not about PNM, I am not about no political party. I will highlight and support an individual in our office that is doing his job. But you cannot tell me, it is disappointing to tell you that only government construction will be open and take comfort. Take comfort in what? Poverty? I'm asking, you say I gotta tell you something. When the 41 MPs collecting their $30, $40, $50,000 at the end of 30 days, your bank calling you, your landlord knocking on your door, your child mill going down. How do you take comfort in that, Donna? What you are taking comfort with? Starvation? Let me tell you something. While all eating bread 3 days old, MPs and councillors getting fresh bread every day, you know. So don't get tied up. He also added that outdoor activity and exercising will remain no go for now. Get sugar and stay inside. Call her good night.
Hello, good night.
My friend.
Good night, good night. I can tell you. If you take a hog and you take him from the mud and you bathe him and you turn suit and put a cigar in his mouth and you feed him and he belly full, you know that same hog will turn wrong and see the mud and dive in it again. That's what these people do. They had Rowley for 5 years and they vote him back. They want that. Don't feed these people. Leave them like that.
All right, they caller. I don't know why you just do me that. I don't know why you just do me that. I just have to apologize for you on air, man. I mean, yes, it's real talk. Yes, we asking you all to call in and voice your concerns. But, oh gosh. You know, next thing they send my letter now and by force now I have to light a candle. You understand what I'm saying? That's one I could save for a purpose. So we're moving along. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley have stated that the borders of Trinidad and Tobago are set to reopen on July 17. Congratulations. But on the Western Peninsula was never closed. It was never closed. Could anybody agree with that? The Western Peninsula was never closed. The PM stated, after careful consideration, the government have decided to open the borders on Saturday, July 17th. However, he stated that open borders would recognize 3 categories of persons: vaccinated nationals of TNT, unvaccinated citizens of TNT, and another unvaccinated persons.
We expect to recognize 2 categories of people, in fact 3 categories of people. Category 1 are citizens of Trinidad and Tobago vaccinated. Category 2, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago unvaccinated. And category 3, other persons unvaccinated. The exact date in July, we expect, it's Monday 17th. The Saturday 17th of July, that's when we expect to go back to scheduled services, open our borders to those categories of people.
Yeah. So now, viewers, he's talking about vaccinated people. Keep in mind, we have 1.3 million people in Trinidad and Tobago. We're not checking undocumented. We're checking legal people. 1.3 million. How many vaccines did come into Trinidad and Tobago? About, let's just say, 200,000. Let's just say about 150,000 people vaccinated. Let's just say that. I'll give you the figures just now. Vaccinated people, 1.3 million people living in Trinidad and Tobago. Approximately 150,000 people vaccinated. Just saying. Now listen to this. He stated that vaccinated non-nationals can enter, but unvaccinated non-nationals would not be able to enter into the country at this time, which I find is fair, because settle with that. The PM added that a person who is not vaccinated and wish to enter the country must go into state supervision, that is quarantine for 14 days, and must be able to show a negative PCR. So just imagine that. Non-nationals, if you're not vaccinated, you come in, you go in state quarantine for 14 days, do your PCR, once it's negative, we're good to go. What about if you test positive? That is our next case. Call a good night.
Now I want to raise 2 points. The first point is Donna Cox was completely out of context and she is too fast to say people greedy. Right, number one. I would like to know if Dr. Keith Rowley took any vaccine at all, because anytime you're asking that, he gets in very arrogant and out of line. I would like to know if he takes the vaccine, because all the rest of ministers overseas on television were taking a jab. Dr. Rowley didn't have no COVID and he didn't take no vaccine. And Donna Cox they should fire him instantly.
The PM added that persons who are not vaccinated and wish to enter the country must go into supervised state quarantine for 14 days and must be able to show a negative PCR. As persons who are not vaccinated wishing to enter Trinidad. On the other hand, he stated that vaccinated non-nationals can enter, but unvaccinated non-nationals would not be able to enter this country at this time. You see how it read? 1 minute non-nationals, not vaccinated, can't enter. And then you flip it on the other side, individuals who wishing to enter into Trinidad and Tobago could do so. So this is why I just tell earlier, sometimes I just wonder, what really going on? I just read it for you. Call a good night. To you, my friend.
The disrespect and the offense continues.
Yes.
It seems that there is no limit to it. I wouldn't go into Donna Cox's statement because they didn't have to present a party card to get a hamper. It was total disrespect, and no matter what damage control they do, would be able to. And in that press conference where the reporter, when the reporter asked him about the construction at the first time he broke in, he said, "I want you to stop that now."
Correct.
That was so, listen, those reports, you have to understand, as a Prime Minister, you have to prepare to answer difficult, hard questions.
Yes.
Do not try to muzzle anybody. Because every one of them needs to get the hell out of that everything. Because apparently they're quarantined. And I realized that Donna Cox, Bridget and Lisa George, the President of the Senate, Kangaloo, they are feeding off this man around. When will it stop? I am hoping that when a new government is formed, and it will, because we are fed up. Don't study what people say about PNM till we listen. We could only take so much. We have reached our tipping point, and it will change. All the best.
Thank you, my friend. Same to you. Now, the PM further noted that unvaccinated children coming in with vaccinated parents would allow to go home without any quarantine. The PM also added that quarantine breakers would be fined and will face the full brunt of the law.
I spoke with the authorities about the penalties for coming in unvaccinated and attempting to beat the system of not going into state supervised quarantine. I'm going to talk to the Attorney General to ensure that those penalties are in fact a deterrent and that the law enforcement will keep a close eye on that, because we know that there are people who are going to want to come in having not complied with the vaccination requirements, but between the immigration officer and the quarantine site may believe that they are already in Trinidad and Tobago, and also persons who may want to come out of that quarantine. One person caused Sydney to be shut down and New Zealand to be responding. It's one person. So any person who comes into this country and decide to play fast and loose with our quarantine system and our entry requirements will face the full brunt of the law. And we will make some adjustments to ensure that the penalty is quite a deterrent.
Now, viewers, I'm just going to drop a little something for you to understand. Government construction starting back on the 5th of July. It is alleged China sent vaccine to vaccinate their people, including Chinese construction workers right here. It is alleged. Borders set to open on the 17th of July. Tobago Airport construction is set to restart on the 5th of July. All are following me? All are following me? 5,000 Chinese workers allegedly set to come into Trinidad to work on projects. Since last year, certain persons have been trying to find accommodation for workers in Tobago. Hence the 50 million hotel and guest house grant to upgrade. So who is calling the shots? Let's talk now. Talk now. Everything run in sequence. Everything. The opening back of the hotel, the Chinese vaccinating their people, the airport in Tobago set to start on the 17th, construction opening on the 17th. Who getting contracts? Let's talk. Talk now, man. But you know, the construction worker who not working in the government sector, you know them had to stay home? Them had to stay home. Great is the PNM. According to our new Minister of National Security, no disrespect to nobody. But that is how it's playing off. So while people set to come into China, and the project, the airport in Tobago set to start on the 17th. Well, let's say something now. Read between the lines. Read between the lines. How they didn't say the airport set to start on the 17th? Why they didn't say that? That's for you not to know. But you know what they're throwing the Point Fortin Highway? They're throwing the hospital. So people would understand now, but wait, now the hospital important. The Point Fortin Highway important. But they failed to mention the airport in Tobago. That is what you call talk. That is what you call real talk. Caller, good night.
Yes, Saeed. Salaam alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Said, I would just like to find out the COVID victims in this country that died, right, have maybe 3/4 of them have contribution to the NIS.
Correct.
Right? And I would like to know that if they die, if the family have something to get from that contribution because they won't be coming back again.
True, true.
And we can't say that the dead, we have to wait until age 60 and the dead would get the money. Because, you know, and how the total of the COVID victim in this country is how much? It's 100 and something.
Yeah.
Right? So let me say half of that have contributed to the NI.
How are they going to get it?
How the family going to get
it? I understand what you're saying.
Because because that person don't die, right? They have
They're not coming back.
Children.
Correct.
They're not coming back. So who will get this money? The government will get this money?
Was there anything in place?
All of them go share it up together.
I understand what you're saying. Valid point. Valid point.
I highlight that from a boy. Serious.
I will talk to somebody in NIS and see or in NIB and see what's taking place with that. Because that's a valid point.
Yes.
Let's just say you're working in a government sector and you're paying your NIS contribution and you die. What's going on with that? That's a valid point. My friend, thank you so much for raising it. So viewers, today, now, I want to say something, and many of you all will be shocked. Today, one of my company, Realtalk group of companies, got their, straight up on screen, they got their money lending license today. Today, I spent almost half day in inland revenue in Port of Spain. Just waiting for this document. So Realtalk group of companies is officially a licensed money lending institute. Now I'm going to tell you something. Come back to me, Shane. The next step from here is to open Realtalk Credit Union. That is my next step. So the company, Realtalk group of companies, they took the necessary steps, the legal way. We filed all our documents to get a license, to get our money lending license. Today, we was successfully granted our license. Today. So that is an achievement I want to thank God for. Now I'm going to tell you something. Giving have a lot to do with it. Sometimes an obstacle might come in your way. And I always tell people this. I believe in charity. I believe in giving. And since I have launched Realtalk with Saieed Ali on the network, on Synergy Television, I have never thought about going anywhere. Never thought about leaving Synergy to go anywhere. Because I was making a name and I was making waves right here on Synergy Network in Trinidad and Tobago. I did my charity, I did my giving, I praise God, and today my company, Realtalk group of companies, received our money lending license, was granted to us today. So the next step from here, straight up action, the next step from here, viewers, is that Realtalk Credit Union. That is our, there are certain information that I did blocked from the public domain. It is only relevant to those in authority then, I must say. It is relevant to them. Because sometimes information in the public domain that's not supposed to be in the public domain, this causes problem. People just want to forge and do all sorts of madness. You could bring it up to the stamp. It is legit. All day today I was in, well, half day today I was in the Ministry of the Ministry, Inland Revenue, the division in Port of Spain. As you can see, it's stamped June 26, 2021. So Realtalk group of company is an official money lending institute. Hey, let me tell you something. You see, hard work and charity, 16 hours a day now. 17 hours a day. And you see, praising God and thanking God and giving, God has opened doors for you when you're least expected. And that is why I always tell people. I always tell people, I say it doesn't matter if you have $1, cut it in two. Or take out 25 cents and give somebody. Not on your behalf, you know. But take out that 25 cents and give it on God's behalf. Lord, you bless me with this $1. I give him back 25 cents out of this $1. And you go see a reward. You will see a reward. So my next step, viewers, is to apply for the permit to operate a credit union. I will be successful. I will be successful. God have been good to me through the years. I've been on television. God have been good to me even though I was not on air. God have blessed me. So when you hear somebody say, Saieed, you have a nice car, boy. When I put in 17 hours, you hugging up your wife and sleeping. When I now going on my bed 11:30 to 12, that time you don't crack in your second nap already. So today, I could thank God and I could make it public of the achievement today. So, that is our next step. Real Talk Credit Union. So viewers, this is just a little insight of things that I am working on. Let me tell you something. Too much of ridiculous prices and bank charges that take place in Trinidad. Just how I just get legislations and amendments to pass in Trinidad and Tobago to benefit you, the citizen. Let me tell you a little something. Watch and see. I will bring a change in the financial structures in Trinidad and Tobago. Watch me and watch me well. If I could do it for legislations and amendments and laws, and we could get it passed, and those who have been watching Real Talk from the very first, you could testify that anytime Saieed tell you pushing something, he gets in it. Call a good night.
Good evening, Mr. Saieed.
My friend.
Congratulations on your initiative, man.
Thank you, my friend.
I have a little money buried in a clip pan. As a credit union start, I'm digging up that and bringing it by you.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Let me explain something to you with Donna Cox. And why it is she could make them type of statements and feel comfortable with it. You see, the people that support the PNM is a culture of people we are accustomed in separation, that are accustomed in poverty because of the PNM that have them there. When them get up in the morning and they having a conversation with their family, they don't talk about going to work or going to a job. Their conversation is, I'm going to make a hustle today. I'm going and see if I catch a 10 days. I'm going and see if I get a walk. I'm going and see if I cut some a loan or something to me. And you can have conversation, the people who support things like Donna Cox have. They don't talk about my children and my family and I have to educate my children. They speak about my child mother and my child father and how much children I have outside. When you hear the conversation is not about trying to make ends meet to buy a piece of land so I could build a house. Then conversation is, I'm waiting 30 years since Eric Williams was here to get a house, to get an apartment. That's the kind of conversation and the culture PNM created for these people. And so Donna Cox could come and make these statements and feel comfortable about it. Because remember when Rowley, if you notice, Rowley does travel to the African continent most of the time. They do business and thing over there in Ghana. So when he go to these places and he see people drinking out of mud well with a dig, rivers, and living in mud huts and running barefoot and in abject poverty, that is comfortable for them. So when they come back and see people living comfortable in Trinidad and Tobago, driving their cars, living a good lifestyle, she could come now and say, they're greedy, because she has seen people lying outside the road
for food,
looking like they're from Somalia or Ethiopia in a famine state. And that's why these people could make this statement and plenty of people would feel comfortable with it, because they do no better. They are so oppressed and so brainwashed into thinking that, oh, if their life's supposed to be better, if they're so comfortable living in a home, something is wrong. So they accept that statement. They feel that, oh, she entitled to say that, and them supposed to accept it and don't respond. That is why Rowley could talk them kind of talk, and Donna Cox and them could make them kind of statement and feel happy and comfortable with it. But everybody is under poverty. And seen, remember one earlier year and something now, this thing going on that people who own businesses, bars, and who are selling all side the road and things have me getting an opportunity to earn an income as yet.
Yes.
And then coming out after so long as to make that statement, something had to be wrong with you. Have a good night, Mr. Said, and enjoy your program.
Thank you, my friend. So, viewers, the Ministry of Finance, Colin Mahmood, have assured that NIS pension will continue to be paid in accordance with establishment procedures and laws. Mahmood stated that the government will soon examine recommendations for the report and make decisions accordingly. These recommendations include increase the retirement age to 65, increase in NIS contribution, and includes a self-employed and migrants in the NIS.
In this context, the widening gap between benefits paid out under the NIS and contributions made to the NIS, we must as a country seriously examine the merits of the recommendations made in the 10th Actuarial Review of the National Insurance System, laid in this Parliament in March of 2019, and make decisions regarding their feasibility, efficacy, and social and economic impact. These recommendations include increasing the retirement age to 65, increasing NIS contributions, and including the self-employed and migrants in the NIS.
You're increasing contribution when the economy is broken. Well done. And you all examining. Examine what? What you're concerned about the NIB and about the NIS, but yet thousands of people are unemployed. If people are unemployed and businesses shutting down, what do you expect, Mr. Imbert? If the climp pan empty, can you get climp? No. You look for a job, you find that job, you work your week, you collect your salary, and you buy your climp. But if there is no job and there is no salary, how the hell you getting climp? How are you getting it? You see, common sense is what many politicians don't have. They lack it bad. Bad. Recommendation and recommendation and recommendation. What about your personal recommendation? What about that? What about that? All you have 1 million people home. 300,000 essential workers working. But Donna Cox come out and said to the public, we misunderstood her statement. How the hell you misunderstanding, Grady? However, it must state that the government will not be distracted by not irresistible, but irresponsible statement about the sustainability of NIS pension. If no funds is coming in, how you're paying out in birth, common sense. He made it clear that under this government, NIS pension will continue to be paid when required in accordance with the law.
I wish to assure you, Madam Speaker, that this government will not shirk from its responsibilities with respect to this very serious matter. And we will not be distracted by the tirades, threats, and irresponsible statements made by agent provocateurs, whose only intent is to create confusion, fear, and doubt about the sustainability of NIS pensions. I wish to make it clear that contrary to rumor, under this government, NIS pensions will continue to be paid as and when required in accordance with established procedures and in accordance with the law.
Now viewers, Imbut further added that it was a government duty to protect the public interest. There's a government duty, yeah? That's what he's saying. NIS and pension is something that they should never touch. They should never touch that. That's the backbone. When you interfere with the backbone, what you do? What you do? If you burst a hole in a balloon and take a leak, go ahead. And pensioners might start rioting in Trinidad. Now, he added that the finance ministry will embark on a consultation before any decisions are made in regards to protecting the long-term usefulness of the NIS.
We in this government consider it our sworn duty and responsibility to serve and protect the public interest. And in this regard, the Ministry of Finance will soon embark on a series of national public consultations, as well as consultation with all stakeholders, including trade unions and employers' representatives, before any decisions are made with respect to the appropriate way forward to preserve and protect the long-term viability of the national insurance system.
What did he say? It is the government interest in protecting and making sure nothing goes wrong. That's what he said. I'm going to show you something. And you tell me if it was in the best interest of the government. You tell me if it was in the best interest of the people. And then you will tell me if I should have comfort in poverty. You tell me if I should be disappointed by telling you only the government sector would be opening and the private construction would be home. You tell me if I should be disappointed. Or you tell me if this is a caring public. Listen to this.
The government is not closing down Petrotrin.
What happened? What happened after? That was a caring government according to Imbut. What happened? Espinay said, all going home. Do not call me 2 o'clock in the morning and ask me how many going home. All going home. Heritage Petroleum. If you all don't know, Heritage Petroleum made $1 billion in profit. $1 billion in profit. Why the hell Petrotrin didn't make that? Why Petrotrin did not make that? So the caring government that Imbut's speaking about was not so caring. Let's talk now. Let me tell you something. It's only facts I bring in for you all, you know. I'm not bringing no bump and gum story, you know. It's only facts I bring in to you. That's all that gets in on Real Talk, is the real thing itself. So hear this now. Epidemiologist Dr. Avery Hines have stated that at least 4 persons have died from COVID-19 after 2 weeks of taking the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine. One question on the number of deaths that occurred post-vaccination, Hines stated that the vaccination information was still being compiled and validated.
We are actually still compiling and comparing and validating the vaccination information. There have not been many cases where a vaccine was reported to have been on board or have been delivered in the event of a death. In those where it has happened, there are maybe about 4 or 5 that we have on record, and they're usually persons who would have contracted illness pretty soon after having had their vaccine, but we're still attempting to get the documentation on the vaccine itself from some of these individuals. So that's something that will be refined and clarified as that information becomes available. It's not always presented to the clinical staff at the point in time when the fatality may occur.
Now, viewers, he added that the deaths resulting post-vaccination were persons who only had their first dose of those deaths would have occurred less than 2 weeks after vaccination. Hines further noted that such a result is in keeping with the expectation that the first dose of vaccine takes time before a person's immunity is boosted sufficiently by it.
Even with that first dose of vaccine on board, the immunity is not optimized yet, which is why your second dose of vaccine is of utmost importance. If you've had that first dose, you need to have the second dose in order to optimize, to get the most out of your vaccination, both in terms of the strength of your immune response and the duration, meaning how long that immune response will last.
So there you have it. They are saying after the first dose, there were some deaths. While we were wondering and playing scapegoat, deaths were confirming. Deaths were confirming. So data are still being compiled, and I will give you an update on how many persons died through the vaccine. I ain't going nowhere. I'll be right here to give you the update. Right here I will be. So I want to send a shout out to Ayana from Board of Inland Revenue, and also I want to send a shout out to Ashton from the Ministry of Works. Two good people. Kola, good night.
Hello, good night.
Go right ahead.
I just want to be the second person to congratulate you on your credit union. It's long awaited for somebody new to come along. And I would like to be one of the persons to be investing with you. As soon as possible, we would like to know more about it. Thank you from Chagonas.
Thank you, my dear. I will keep Trinidad and Tobago updated. Let me tell you something. It's things that cause me to go in direction, you know. It's incident that happened in Trinidad that caused me to go in a certain direction, you know. All the incest and the rape was taking place. There were no laws. Guns coming in, there was no amnesty, there was nothing. Gang leaders, it had nothing. When Real Talk launched in 2018, let me tell you something. I started to work, you know. It's 708 legislation I got passed in Trinidad and Tobago with laws to back it up, signed by the president, you know. So when you tell me, Said, you can't do that and you can't do that and you can't do that, I will tell you, watch me do it. Because I didn't come for friends. I come to make a change. That is what I come for. And with the power of God dwelling and working through me, I will make a change. And I have been doing it thus far. It's not about boasting, you know. It's about getting things done. That is what it is about. That is what it is about. When you hear you want to play your this and your that and your the next, not a problem. So hear this now. I want to commend the Commissioner of Police for the creation of the Gender-Based Violence Unit. You know how this come about? Remember when I say I wanted to raise funds to build the Crisis Center for Trinidad and Tobago? They rush and they open the Gender-Based Violence Unit. How many of you remember that? But that is something still in the planning, eh? It's still in planning. Trinidad and Tobago getting that. I'm telling all we getting that. That's my project. So here what's happening. I congratulate the commissioner for doing it. Now, there are some corporals and sergeants who are not doing their duties and putting the strain on the constables. I wouldn't say which unit, which area. But I want the commissioner of police. You see, a sergeant is supposed to do a sergeant work. And a corporal is supposed to do a corporal work. Not a bloody hell constable doing a corporal work or doing a sergeant work. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And I have decided to light it up. I have decided to light it up. So I hope the Commissioner of Police look into it and do something about it. And I remember man pleaded not guilty to a charge of attempting to bribe a police officer when he appeared before a magistrate today. Officers were conducting exercise on Friday in the Arima in Arima when they spotted a man who was found to be in breach of the curfew. A search resulted in 340 grams of marijuana being in his possession. Keep a track of the time there for a minute. He pleaded guilty to the charge of breach of curfew and a fine of 4,000 and pleaded not guilty to the charge of bribery. Wow. So he tried to bribe the officer. He was placed on $100,000 bail with surety. Just imagine a little time in Trinidad and Tobago, a little time such as being inside for 7 o'clock, that and all we can listen to. Well, boy, if we can't listen to that, we can't listen to your wife talking to you. Because if your wife tell you, well, boy, chop up the chicken, you go say, like, me have time for that, no? It is start right here with rules and regulations. Right here it is start. So viewers, not too long, hopefully before this year is finished, Real Talk Credit Union will be existing in Trinidad and Tobago. And it's something I am going at. It's too much of ridiculous fees and penalties we, as citizens, just have to be paying. And when we're in a pandemic, and we're telling all the hey, we can't make it, belief had to come. It's a different story. We out? So viewers, it was a pleasure being here this Monday, the 28th of January, to bring you the news and events in Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, we have our Real Talk Public Concerns on a Wednesday night. Feel free to send in your video footage of the area with a little note. The bad road, the bridges, the drainage. Send it to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com. And let me tell you something, we would be glad to highlight it. I have taken that initiative from last week to make every Wednesday, a public concern night with the drains and the bad road and the bridges. It's high time that the Ministry of Works and Transport get their tail cracking, because we ain't paying tax for nothing. We ain't paying tax for nothing. We paying tax and they want to cut NIS. They want to freeze NIS. Now you're thinking twice. You're raising NIS age. When somebody tells us, well, you know, 60, I going home. Hey, you have 5 years still to go. That's in your back so. You work out 40 years for the government like that. And when you do that now, time for retirement at 60, you have 5 again to go. So viewers, until we meet again, this is Real Talk with Saieed Ali. And I do want to say, Allah ka ba'il hazir ki ba'illa la umma shanta ba'illa. Continue giving. Continue giving and reap the reward that God will bless you with. Until we meet again, good night.